This is the first part of a series of short videos where I'll be sharing some general strategies for solving Hunt puzzles. To illustrate the strategies covered in each video, I'll be using the Hunt puzzles from the opening round of the 2018 Singapore Puzzle Hunt as examples. The theme for this Hunt is Ready Player One, and the opening round is a series of short, simple puzzles themed after well-known 80s fiction. So if you want to avoid any spoilers, you should first take a look at these puzzles from the website and try to solve them before you start watching these videos. This will help you to better understand the videos and the solving strategies described. You can pause this video to do that now and resume only after you're ready. But remember, these videos only serve to use these Hunt puzzles examples for illustrating the general solving strategies and are not intended to be solving guides, as steps will be skipped along the way to keep the video short. So if you wish to understand the complete solving steps, you should also read the solution document for each puzzle. And to illustrate the solving strategies in this first video, I'll be using the first puzzle from the opening round of the 2018 Singapore Puzzle Hunt. So let's get started and take a look at that now. Okay, so the first puzzle, a quick orientation for those new to puzzle hunts. A hunt puzzle consists of a puzzle title. In this case, it is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And optional flavor text, usually these are marked out separately in italics in this case. And the main body of the puzzle, and in this case you see that it is actually a poem. Okay, and what is characteristic about Hunt puzzles is that there are no given instructions, so you have to first figure out what you need to do and the steps needed to get to the answer, which is usually in the form of a word or phrase. And that leads us into the solving strategies which I'll cover in this video. The first strategy which I'll share is to triage and assess what type of a puzzle that you see. And let's take a look at this puzzle. So the first thing you notice is that there are actually many different types of puzzles. Okay, word puzzles, logic puzzles, identification puzzles, physical puzzles, runarounds, meta puzzles, and even combinations of these. So knowing the type of puzzle is helpful because that gives you a rough idea of what you need to look out for or do. For instance, in this puzzle, we see that the poem is the main puzzle body, so we know clearly that this is a word puzzle and is therefore probably some form of word play which we should look out for. Okay, and next, the second strategy is to assess with the team members the provided information. This includes the puzzle body, title, and flavor text for clues as to figure out what is the aha or what needs to be done here. Okay, and this is what we term the intuitive leap. And we want to emphasize the importance of working together with other solvers in the team for this step, because some ahas will be tricky and it helps to share observations and talk out ideas within the team to build on each other's theories. Often, you'll find that one person manages to spot something relevant and another person manages to realize the significance or reference for that. So back to the puzzle example. In this case, we start with the puzzle body first. Okay, let's assess the information that we have. Okay, in this case, it's a poem, so let's read it out aloud. Soft puzzles come grab a portion, but make sure you do not blunder. Chances of success are none unless deeper down you grind. So one quick observation here of something unusual is that the pairs of lines in the poem do not rhyme, even though they have the same number of syllables. So next we look at the puzzle title, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is just thematic to the Hunt as well as to the puzzle body, because this is talking about Vogon poetry. And so there's nothing overly suspicious over here. And it is important not to overthink thematic references and start researching excessively into these, because puzzles will generally not require much thematic knowledge in order to solve. The flavor text, this is usually just for story flavor and should generally not be necessary for solving the puzzle, since it is usually more elegant for the main puzzle body itself to intuitively clue all the needed solving steps. However, flavor text could sometimes contain helpful but non-critical hints, like in this Hunt. So look out for, especially for any contrived words or phrases that are used. And here, the ending phrase, "make this one sound better," appears to be a clue or reference. And when you put together with the earlier observation on the poem, I realized that the first step, or aha, is to actually change the ending words in order to make the pairs of lines rhyme. But what words do we change them to? Okay, and so the third strategy is to remember that all good Hunt puzzles actually follow certain general conventions or rules, and one of these is that all provided puzzle information are useful. And how do we apply it? That in this case, Okay, so we've got aha that we need to make the pairs of lines in a poem rhyme, right? By changing the ending words. But besides the rhyming criteria, how do we know exactly what to replace the ending words with? Well, since the ending words are to be replaced, why was it that these words in particular, like portion and blunder, were used instead of just some other random words? So remember that all provided puzzle information are useful. So if these words were not chosen for their sounds because they don't rhyme, they must be chosen for their meanings. Therefore, it follows that we need to replace the ending words with words of the same meaning, forming rhyming pairs of lines. For example, which rhyming words have the same meaning as portion and blunder? And it's share and air. Okay, so next we go on to the fourth strategy, which is after you've gotten a puzzle aha, it gets pretty exciting, right? But if after you know the aha in the first step, it helps if you continue working together with your other team members to solve the clues because small brains make light work. So always use a shared online spreadsheet to tabulate the information related to the puzzle so that the team can collaborate efficiently. And you want to focus on the easier or less ambiguous clues first because these are intentionally included as entry points for the solver. So let's take a look at the example here. Okay, what I've done is that I've actually put this into a spreadsheet. I'm using Excel here instead of Google Sheets because I'm the only solver. So make use of an online puzzles solving tool like also like Thesaurus or a crossword solver to help you to find the synonyms if necessary. Okay, so let's start doing that now. Just now, as we've mentioned, portion is share, and the synonym for blunder is air. And as if you recall, we try to look for the ones which are easier entry points, the easier or less ambiguous ones. Hotel is an inn, and jaw is chin. So we got another rhyming pair over here, and then none, new, grew is drew. Okay, so another rhyming pair, and employed. So I've separated out the various stanzas with the different highlights just to make it easier to note. So you can see that it actually maps to the ones here. Okay, if you just see, yeah. Okay, what others do we have? Shred is to tear, and wig is hair. Okay, any others ones that can find? So don't worry if you don't know these like if they don't come to you immediately, you can always make use of tools online like the thesaurus and word solving um, tools online like I shared. Okay, so I think we've got quite a good number here. Okay, maybe let's just try a few more. Aim, tame, for mile. Okay, so I think we've got a couple of ones left. You don't really need to solve all the clues because once you figure out most of the answers, you can start thinking about the final extraction for the puzzle answer because you can usually figure this out without needing all of the clue answers or information. Okay, so this brings us to the last strategy we'll cover, which is to extract from the answers using any provided indices or perhaps using the initials. Okay, so in this case, because there's no obvious indices or numbering which you can take from, so it actually makes sense that you could just use the initials of the synonyms which you have found. And in this case, you can see that actually they're making pretty good words, or actually it's a phrase. So here you have sent us. You haven't solved everything here, but the last word here, and they're separated by stanza, so that makes that provides some word breaks. And here you have th, so you can probably guess what the last word here is, which is thematic. So the answer you've gotten is send us thematic poem. So this is actually a submission instruction, and you actually have to go on to write and submit a thematic poem, after which you'll be given the actual answer to this puzzle. So there you have it, you have solved this puzzle. And let's do a quick recap of all the solving strategies covered. First, assess what type of puzzle this is. Then, work together with your team members to assess the provided information like the puzzle body, title and flavor text or clues with AHA. List down your observations and theories in a shared spreadsheet and talk it out. Remember, the Hunt Puzzle convention that all provided puzzle information is useful, think about what you're meant to do with information that is still unused. Fourth, work collaboratively on a shared spreadsheet to quickly solve the necessary clues. And lastly, extract from the answers using any provided indices or perhaps simply the initials. So that's the end of this first video. You can subscribe to our channel and check out the next video too. Also take a look at the puzzle hunt guide in our website. There are lots of other puzzle solving tips and strategies in there to help you become a better and faster puzzle solver. Do leave us your comments and questions. Bye.